Good afternoon, evening, or morning, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world. We're here today to talk about mass exodus before mass extermination, aka Project Repatriate. I've been talking about it a little bit here and there, not leaving no real details until the time was right. Obviously, the time is right. I feel like we're at a point right now where it's more of us than ever before that's on the same page. Since the times of like Marcus Garvey, except for now we're in a time where we're more connected than we've ever been or ever will have the opportunity to be. And so now is the time. So I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to talk to people who are on the fence or might be wondering exactly what's the purpose, or what's different about being in Africa than being here, or what good is it going to do, or what is the plan, what's the strategy behind it, or those who use the term running away when people talk about going back home. We're here for all that. I want to talk about it. I want to clear the air. I want to get as many people on the same page, because that's what we need to be in order to move forward. We need to be on one accord. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Josh, Brandon, Magdalena? Josh, you just got back from the homeland. I'm sure you had a great experience. There's gonna be people asking a lot of questions. A lot of times I can't keep up right away, so feel free to jump in. If you've been there, the answers to some of these questions. It's good to have more than one person even giving an account, so go for it. There's a reason I got these on. There's a reason that I always have these on. These are warrior beads. Authentic Ghanaian warrior beads. Not for soldiers, for warriors. It's what you wear when you at war. And we at war every day. Right now we getting ready to fight our war. But we're not going to fight it the way that is being expected. And that's what we're here to discuss. What's going on, Yolanda? Trish, Antoine, welcome to the conversation. So right now it seems like everybody just showing up. I try to do a scheduled time so as many people could be here as possible to have questions. So I'm just gonna give everybody a little bit of time to get settled in, have a little patience. These conversations usually get pretty in depth real quick, so leave your questions, I'll get right to it. Yeah, so while we waiting, if there's any early questions, I'm going to jump into them. How does one get started as far as looking for homes to rent or buy? It's this website that I use called tonaton.com, Tonaton.com. It's almost like the Ghanaian Craigslist. They got like houses, apartments, cars, jobs, everything's on there. Just look it up, check it out. Petty Pendergrass says, Illmatic says, stay away from Black Lives Matter rallies. I say stay away from all rallies. Stay away from all kind of outdoor protests. We're done begging, for our oppressor to release us from oppression. We're done trying to appeal to the so-called neutral masses who, might see a protest and be on the fence, or might be unaware and hoping that they might become aware and change their minds or do something to help. That all, 400, however many hundred years of that is enough. They say that the definition of insanity is to continue doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. That's officially the definition of insanity. So as a people, are we insane? Are we going to keep on doing the same thing expecting a different result? That's not what I'm here to do today. So not only Black Lives Matter rallies, not saying there's anything wrong with the message of it, not saying my opinion on it one way or the other, but any type of rally, protest, begging for begging for a savior to come from the same oppressive body that's doing what we're protesting against. We're done with that. I'm done with that. And if anybody is following what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do, we are done with that. So we're not going to be discussing anything about protesting or asking or petitioning or begging or none of that. But that's not what we're here for. You don't sound Ghanaian, you sound like a black American. Well, Keith Coquit, not sure when you got here, but I'm not Ghanaian. I am a black American. I'm a black American who repatriated to Ghana and is now letting other black Americans know a lot of the lies that we've been told are not true, and that it's a place that we can go to start off again. So thanks, great observation that I don't sound Ghanaian. Every time I see you live, I'm scared for you that you might get killed by the cops. You say too many good things and many cops don't like this. Take care. I have those same apprehensions, Magdalena. You know, all of us are at war every day, though. Like I said, all of us have the risk every day of not coming home or dying or this or that. And in my opinion, I'd rather die for a reason than die for nothing. If we can die every day for walking up the street or going to the store or getting a can of soda or selling a pack of cigarettes, I'd rather lose my life over trying to make a difference. So that doesn't deter me. If anything, it makes me want to get on here every single day. So I appreciate the concern, and I'm glad to see that there's somebody out there, you know, who's concerned. But at the same time, we have to, as a people, not just individual person, but as a whole group, we have to put the collective over our individual safety. That's why we have been in the position that we are in for the last however many centuries, because, you know, when it comes down to pivotal moments like this, when it's time to even, you know, put your own self in harm's way to protect what is bigger than you, so many people won't do that. And we have to change that. So I'm glad to be one of the people that will, you know, so I can't be deterred by that. You cannot be deterred by that or by any type of fear or threat. Signs don't bring peace. We need to kill these beasts spiritually, just like our ancestors did. Spiritually, exactly. You know, it's all about depriving the beast of what it is they feed off. We don't have to fight other than to defend ourselves and to keep what we have attained once we attain it. But as far as overcoming the boot of European tyranny, we don't have to fight that. What we need to realize is that we are the suppliers of our own oppression and come out from under that paradigm. The rest, they will come for us to try to defend what we are taking away just by defending ourselves. So that's when you'll realize when the fight needs to come. But right now, what we need to be focused on is building up ourselves. Building up ourselves is our fight. My wife is from Eritrea, East Africa, and let's just say I didn't get treated like a dog. You spitting truth, brother. I've been here in America all my life, and family members fight and die. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read your question or your comment, bro. Fight and die for this place, still to be treated like a dog. They can have this place for real. I mean, that's how I feel about it. And at the same time, a lot of the apprehension that we get from our people is by saying, you know, they can have this place, we can leave it to them, we're leaving it to them. They're going to, you know, they've used us for all these years and now we're going to leave them this country. We're not leaving them anything. What you don't understand is without us, this place will collapse before the next pay period happens. We're not leaving them anything but a ruin, a slaveless ruin, a remote control with no batteries. That's what we're leaving them. So you need to understand that this is not a concession that we're giving up. This is us realizing that we're more than this and we're bigger than this. So, you know, just to be in a place where, yeah, like you said, you can go and fight and give an oath to sacrifice your life to protect a place, and they will still treat you like a dog. And, you know, so it doesn't matter, you know, whether you're call yourself a good American, a law-abiding citizen, or a thug, or whatever the case may be. We're not wanted here. And the thing is, most of the people, the quote-unquote racists, are the small-minded peons. They don't even understand that they're just pawns of white supremacy. They literally believe that, you know, they want us gone, that we should be, that they don't want us around them. What they don't understand is that the entire economy that sustains their way of life could not exist without us in the position that we are in. So they think we're going to give them what they want. They'll realize very quickly that us leaving is not what they want. So don't worry about that. This is all well thought out. We just need to focus on getting ourselves to a position that we can get out of here and have something stable waiting for us when we arrive. And that's what we're here to talk about, because it is very much in the works, and that's what people don't even understand. Just from the time, it's not even been 2 weeks from the time that I publicly announced the basic framework of what my plan was, and the global responses that we've gotten back from people in all kinds of countries, all kinds of positions, from the person running the shop on the street wanting to find out how they can help, to a king or some kings of regions in several countries wanting to donate land or become involved, or, you know, make a mark, you know, in this movement, because they see that it's happening. It's something that our elders have been seeing coming for a long time. This is not something new to them. This is something that they've been waiting for us to realize and bring to them. And so all of us alive right now who are lucky enough to be touched in the sense where we are all in the same place where we've connected, you know, this is a blessing that we cannot let this slip through our fingers without taking advantage of it. So, you know, now is the time. I just feel like you're going to hear me say that a lot probably during this video, because, and a lot of you probably feel the same. I feel like what I'm feeling right now is not a solo feeling. It's something that's flowing through a lot of us right now, and it's not just a temporary anger based feeling, like, you know, a manipulated something that's been brought out of us, but an actual vibrational shift that all of us feel in a connected way. So it's time to build on that. Do you feel it's wise if all black people move to Africa? Wouldn't it make it easier for a mass extermination to be a success? What people don't realize, and I've touched on this a little bit in the previous video, nuclear weapons, why they would never be used in Africa. So I'll just touch on that. I don't really need to touch on it, but they would never risk contaminating the resources, the water, the land that feeds the whole world. Africa feeds the whole world. Once you understand that, you will understand that that's never going to happen. As far as troops, invasion, you know, actually coming and killing us or starving us or whatever the case may be, that would make it easier on one place. Africa is not a country, it's a continent. It's not just a continent, it's the largest landmass on the globe. Us all moving to Africa is not the equivalent of us all going and sitting in one spot waiting to get a bomb dropped on us. It's much more complex than that. So us moving onto the African continent, back to our homeland, does that make it easier for us to all get bombed in one spot? No. These are all lies and manipulation and apprehensions that are put on us to make us avoid doing the one thing that we can do that they can do nothing about. So we need to understand that. How long are you going to be there? I'll be there in late October. Would like to meet up with you? Look me up. I travel a lot, especially during this time, during this project that we're talking about. I'll be going back and forth to a lot of African countries. At least 4 African countries have already solidified donated land. I'm talking about kilometers worth of land to these projects. They want to be a part of this. They want you to come home. So I'll be doing a lot of traveling, but if you give me a heads up, you know, even if I'm not in the country, even if we can't meet, you know, while you're there, I can make sure you link up with the right people to have a great time and show you around and, you know, get you involved in what we're doing. This is not a solo thing. One thing that's the most important thing about this, I'm not your leader. I'm not anybody's ruler. I'm not the pinpoint of this movement. This movement can have no leader. This movement can have no point of failure. This movement can have no point of attack to the point where, you know, you can come and find someone or hurt someone or make someone disappear or discredit someone, do whatever the case may be, and everything falls apart. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. We've had that happen with so many of our leaders in the past. This has to be an idea. It has to be something. It can't be, you know, I have to speak it every day for you to get it. It has to be something that becomes clear, where the motive and the motivation is so clear that the path becomes clear to everybody. So no matter who you stop or no matter what you prevent, it's always going to move forward. So, you know, even if I can't be there, or even if I can't be there to meet with you, I can make sure that there are people there that will get you involved in the program however you want, you know, to be involved, however you see yourself being a contributor. You know, I can make that happen for you, whether I'm there or not. Exactly, just like people praying for change. Our ancestors prayed for centuries. Nobody came to save them. You know, praying means different things in different definitions, and it also depends who you pray to and what you do after that. Greetings from Argentina. Greetings back to Argentina, and back to every other country that's here right now. You know, this is a global movement. This is something that we all should be ecstatic to be a part of. Like, this is something that some of us, I mean, have been waiting on for a long time, that can see it happening and see that it's a lot bigger than just a momentary thing. What are the next steps? I'm really considering leaving America. Geneva, first of all, this is the first step. Do you have a passport? Obviously. If you don't, get a passport as soon as possible before they make it harder for you. The next step is to get a visa and a yellow fever vaccination. You got those 3 things, you're ready to go. And the visa is a lot easier to get if you've already bought your ticket. So if you already know when you're planning to be gone, get the steps in order. You know, get your ticket. Once you got your ticket, you can have your visa within a week. So those are the next steps. If you want to get it done, you can have it done within a week. It seems everybody's for building up ourselves. Hi from Germany. I love your spirit. Sparkle in the eye. Hi back to Germany. If you leave and you owe anything, they are coming for you. I'm not sure who told you that. Are you talking about like taxes or something like that, or you have like debt or bankruptcy? I'm not sure, but those are things of the past. Those are things that we are looking to dismantle. We're looking to move into a future paradigm where old debts of Europeans no longer affect us. Old contracts of us giving out our resources from colonial slavery taxes will no longer. These are things that we are moving forward from. We need to understand that we are talking about a global paradigm shift. We're not talking about getting together so we can go and request something from the United Nations. We're not talking about getting together to petition the courts. We're talking about circumventing this entire process with our own power. Anybody not get that? Because we're talking about abandoning this system. We're not talking about living within it, improving our conditions within it. We're not talking about that. I got into your post with Ebola and you really opened my eyes. I appreciate that. I'm glad you read it. You know, a lot of people have got on since that point, since that one was something that was caught early and then proved out to be true. A lot of people have caught on since then and have been seeing a lot of these other staged events as what they are. You know, the formula is always the same. You always see the same build up and the same accidents and the same, you know, play out. So it's actually been a lot helpful. It's been helpful since that time, you know, that a lot more people are able to see these things before they get to the point where we can't do anything about it. You know, how many people have already immediately, when the Dallas shooting thing happened, you know, within moments, people were all over the internet, you know, the government did that. No citizen came out and shot those cops. And then as far as the details, that couldn't have been, you know, just any person doing the sniping or this and that, or, you know, even asking questions like, you know, when are the cops' funerals if they're really dead? I wouldn't question if they're dead or not. It really doesn't matter to me, you know, but just the fact that people are questioning the government now, it's not such cut and dry where they can say whatever they want and people just jump onto the story, you know, and promote and support wars and retaliations and things like that. That has been their main weapon and power for so long. And the fact that they're losing their credibility is one of our greatest opportunities to move forward. How do you feel about reparations? I feel this truth you spit and keep it up. We need more brothers to speak up like you, warrior blood. I agree, bro. We need more. You know, that's what I'm here. Even my 2 youngest brothers who are blood to me, you know, they might be watching this or not. They don't really tell you who's watching. But, you know, my 2 little brothers who are blood to me, you know, they're so mature and they're men and they're grown and I'm proud of them, you know, and they have responsibilities now as fathers. But at the same time, you know, I wish that them as responsible men, they are examples to other men who are their age and their generation. And if they could have, you know, the knowledge or the the opportunity to speak up and do things like that and affect the people who even I can't reach. I only reach a certain crowd, regardless of how popular you might think I am, you know, but there's people who are of different walks of life who can reach different people, and everybody needs to step up and reach the people who gravitate towards you. Everybody has a crowd of people who gravitate towards them. There's people who probably wouldn't even understand a word I'm saying, but they will get it if you explain it to them, and that's why we need everybody. How do I feel about reparations? I kind of been clear about that. I don't think that we're going to get it. I don't think that we should fight for it. I don't think we should be even still worshiping the idea that European paper is going to rescue us from this prison that we're in. At the same time, you know, it's European paper. They own it. They control it. They can manipulate it. They could turn around tomorrow and say, we're going to give all black people $1 billion each, and they can give it to us. And then the next day they can say, now it's not worth anything. But by the way, you signed this contract now that, you know, we paid for slavery, so thanks. Don't talk about it anymore. You know, I don't see reparations as being anything for us to even fight about. If we want to fight about reparations, you would have to fight about how you can pay me for something that you're still doing. You know, I would be more concerned about stopping them from taking the resources that they're still taking today, rather than making them give me back some old gold plates that they took from, you know, 2,000 years ago. I want those back too, but at the same time, I'm more concerned about you stopping what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just paying, you know, you're giving me an apology payment, which is what reparations is an apology payment, but you're still doing what it is that you're apologizing for. So it's genuine, and it's not going to be of use to us in what we're trying to do. How can we start a business with those beads and other handmade products from me buying to you selling and shipping? If not, how can I buy a pair? Well, as far as business wise, that's something that you can even do whether you're in America or over there. I mean, it's a really easy business to start. People make them in the country, they sell them, and then if you know people in America who want them, you can, you know, move them that way. I mean, it's really simple. If you want to, you can even start like a little blog or like a little website online that people can just go on and purchase them. You can just put pictures up or something like that. It's relatively simple. What type of business is successful there? Any type of business. You can do pretty much whatever it is that you're good at, and what you'll see there when you arrive, you'll be inspired by seeing so many black people like you who have their own businesses. Like, if you're good at nails, if you're good at art, if you're good at mechanic, if you're good at driving, if you're good at washing cars, fixing cars, computers, graphic design, whatever it is that is your passion that you feel like you are skilled at, you can do it. Whether it's just physical labor, whether you want to be somebody's handyman, whether you want to actually open up a construction firm is what I did, whether you want to, it's just really whatever it is you want to do. That's the difference, in my opinion, between freedom and liberty. Liberty is what we have over here. You have the right to do whatever I tell you you can do. In Ghana, what I experienced is freedom, which is you do what you want to do. You just don't hurt anybody else in the process. So if you want to open up a business doing whatever it is that you do, and you have land and you have space and people will come in your door and pay you, then that's pretty much it. So as far as industry, the two biggest industries in Ghana right now are construction and energy conversion. There's a lot of power outages due to the fact, again, that 90% of Ghana's oil goes to the United States. So there's a lot of energy conversion businesses going on, trying to figure out how to convert everything from solar energy to septic waste to compost, everything into energy. So between that business and construction, those are the two largest industries. If you have some way to contribute to one of those industries, you have no choice but to be successful in Ghana right now. Are you trying to get us all to leave at once or get us to leave, period? Both. We obviously cannot leave at once because there are 39 million of us in the United States. There's no possible way for us to leave at one given time. At the same time, leaving, period, yes. And leaving totally, yes. And then leaving as soon as possible right away, yes. So if someone was to do the math, you know, how many of us could actually travel at one time, and how long does the trip take, and how many trips would it take, and how would that equate? Would it be a year, 2 years, 5 years, however long it takes? but we should be in a constant motion of leaving until all of us are gone. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Femi. Did you ever look into the Earth Bag building, and if so, what do you think? Looked into that. I did. I like the Earth Bag idea. I like the container recycling idea. They even have a way now where you can 3D print a house. You know, it's cost effective though only if you're doing like 100 of them. So I don't know if we'll get into that one, but we've looked into a lot of different ways to do affordable homes and building them and making it sustainable and with resources that are available to us without having to go to outside sources. So we're pretty well set in that area. But I do appreciate you letting me know about that, because looking into it, it is going to be useful in what we are trying to do. How do you feel about revolution? Be more specific. There's a Made in Africa project happening out of Senegal, madeinafricaproject.com. All right, thanks for sharing that. And if anybody else knows of any other programs like that, just share it. I mean, as many that we can get awareness about out there into the open, the better. You know, I've even since being in Ghana, I've learned about 5 or 6 programs that I've now let people know about that there was no way I could have known about without going. So if you've somehow come into knowledge of a program that you know people around you don't know, share it. Let everybody know and let everybody else share it, because this is important. There have been programs that are up to 15 and 20 years old that African countries like Ghana, Kenya, and what am I thinking? Ghana, Kenya, I want to say Gabon. Let me not misquote. At least for sure I know Ghana and Kenya have spent billions of dollars investing in repatriation programs that are at least 15 and 20 years old, that people like me and you are just now becoming aware of. And there's a reason for that. So, you know, if you've become aware of a program that people around you don't know, please let people know about these things, because I would be, as an African, if I was in one of these countries and we've been asking for so many years and putting information out there and not giving a response, what other, you know, conclusion could you come to other than that we don't want to leave? You know, so a lot of them are not aware of all the blockades and media blockades that stop information from getting to us, or that alter or distort the information that's being sent from Africa to us. A lot of people are not aware of that. So it's up to us now in doing things that, like what we're doing right now, to circumvent mass media and let each other know what's really going on both sides of the ocean. It's a critical part of what we're trying to do here. Have you heard of Dr. Umar Johnson? If so, what is your perspective on his emerging movement and his strategy? What are the underlying tactics of the Dallas false flag and sabotaging the Black Power salute, classification? Please, one question at a time. Yeah, I'm just gonna start at the top. Umar Johnson, I've heard about him, and I was actually very happy about what he was trying to do at the time. I think he was trying to build a school for black young men that would educate them with an alternative education source from the typical European curriculum. And in the middle of trying to gather money to make it happen, he was slandered in the media about being with a stripper or something or another, and you had all kinds of black celebrities like basketball players coming out and saying, oh, I was just getting ready to donate $1 million to build his black school for black young men, but since he slept with a stripper, I'm gonna keep my money. You know, I won't even get started on my thoughts of everything that's wrong with that statement and a person who would even do or say something like that. But You know, I saw him and we all watched him get crucified in the media for trying to do something positive. I wouldn't necessarily say that I would take his course of action, because I don't believe that we need to be trying to build anything in America anymore. If we're going to build a school, it should be in Africa. But that's not to say that just because I don't agree with that course of action, that I don't support that brother, and that I don't see that what happened to him was wrong, and that what he was trying to do and his intentions were right. So I think that that was, you know, absolutely wrong, and that's something that we need to stop allowing to happen to our brothers and sisters when they stand up individually. That's the entire purpose of this movement that's happening right now, is solidarity, so that when a person steps up, they cannot be cut down by themselves. So we have to get on track. I'm in Ghana. This is Outlaw talking. I'm in Ghana, and I know of repatriating programs, and it's been going on for ages. I know the purpose for it. Somebody did think a time will come when coming back home will be one of your options up there. I'm glad you came to confirm that, brother, because it was so touching to me when I was talking to these kings. I've talked right now to 2 kings in 2 separate African countries without giving up too much information before the time is right. And to hear from them, just what I was saying to them was not a surprise. It was not something, they were not shocked. They were more like, about time. We knew that this was happening. When are you coming? How soon can we do it? When, you know, here's what we have to give. You know, when can this happen? So we're at a point right now where it's all about us taking advantage of what's being offered to us and being courageous enough to leave behind that which is not good for us. So, you know, you've got me, who's an African American who went to Ghana, telling you. You've got Ghanaians telling you. You've got Sierra Leoneans telling you. You've got everybody trying to let you know that people have been lying to you all your life. Africa not only can afford to have you home, they want you home, and they need you to come home. And every moment that you spend even contemplating on it while you're over here in America, even if you're barely getting by, the food that you're eating, the electricity that you're using, everything, that even the life that you feel like is lesser than, is still being sustained by raping and pillaging the African continent. So even if you do nothing else but leave, you will be doing a benefit. You need a station, King. I'm working on it. Trust me. Facebook is not going to be in control of what I can and cannot say for much longer. So just stay tuned and keep it posted. Right on, black man. That feeling of freedom is priceless. Food, women, climate, atmosphere, everything is much better at home. It's true, man. Like, I don't even need to elaborate. It's something you just cannot say. You just have to feel it when you step foot on the ground. When your feet touch that soil, it's certain things that won't have to be said to you. How long does it take to get citizenship in Africa? As it stands right now, it takes about 7 years to actually officially get citizenship, but you can get residency, and it depends too. I'm not sure who this is asking, but for African Americans and Africans in the diaspora, it's a whole lot faster. So it depends which country that you're going to, but it's not a long process, and residency is something that you can get right away, even while waiting to get citizenship. Please list some of these repatriation programs in a post on your wall. I know you mentioned the Ghana Joseph program before, but it's not clear on the site how to apply. Well, right now, besides Ghana Joseph and Fihankra, Fihankra, and a couple others that probably Outlaw can tell you about, I'm going to make a list and probably try to give like a little header on each one. But what we're doing right now, the program that we're building right now, and I'm not talking about in the far future, the program that we're building right now as we speak is to build on the premise of what both those programs are doing and make it so much larger that we can all take part at one time. So it's great, and I want everybody to learn about those programs and get caught up on those programs so that when this program hits, you know what to expect. This is a large scale thing that we're doing. This is something that is supposed to change the face of everything that we're fighting right now. So Besides the Ghana Joseph program, the FIHANCRA program, and right now what we're calling Project Repatriate, I'm sure it's going to have a different name, but right now it just has to be basic so people can understand what it is that we're doing. Look into those two programs though. FIHANCRA is the largest one that exists right now, and it's actually been officially set aside for you. So look into that. Ask some other people if you know Ghanaians that are on your list. There may be some from the actual tribe that set that land aside that can tell you all about it. So it's all about networking. Get to know people who live in these countries that can talk to you. That's what Facebook is all about. Or not. I'm sure it's supposed to be about talking to people you know, but we've all moved beyond that. So use it for something useful. Get to know people in other countries and get to know people, all around the globe, so that when certain media stories or certain media manipulation comes out, you're not falling victim to it. You have other sources that can give you at least an alternative view. Whether you believe it or not, it's good to have two stories versus one. What is the overall perspective from Africans on how they view African Americans? It's not fair to ask ever for an overall perspective of a whole entire people. That would be like an African asking me, what's the overall perspective how African Americans see us? I mean, I can't honestly speak for every African American, but what I can see from what I've seen and from what you can see from people that are talking here, there is an overwhelming amount of understanding and love. We're missed. We are wanted, and they're calling and bringing and spending money and spending efforts and taking risks of their own stability as a country to bring us home. Look at what happened to Libya when they tried to let go of the dollar and become a sovereign African country. Look at what's happening in Sudan. Like when countries try to separate from this paradigm, there are consequences. And these are countries that want us to come home because they see that we are one of the main contributors to America's strength. Without us, these things that are holding them hostage could not be possible. So they don't view us. What I've heard every time I try to, the immediate apprehension that I get when talking about repatriation is, I've heard Africans don't like us. And then I find myself immediately trying to defend that position, as opposed to making you just think about where did you hear that they don't like you? What makes you feel that they don't like you? And where does that information come from, and why does it rest so heavily on you? So I find myself defending the position, whereas it should be left to you to think about that. With everything that you can see and all the people you see talking here, are you getting the impression that Africans don't like you and that they are, against you coming home? If you're not getting that, then just stop asking the question until someone gives you a reason to believe that. You should let that go from your spirit, because it's holding you back and it's holding us back. I'm not saying that you're holding us back. That feeling is holding you back, and that feeling is holding us back. And it's unwarranted. I haven't seen one time where an African has made me to feel unwelcome or lesser than a black person. So until I feel that, I'm not going to allow something that I've heard to be a barrier in my growth. So I just want you to walk away with that and stop asking that and stop having that apprehension if you haven't been given a reason to feel that. How much would I need to have for a family of 5? If you're moving and you want to start a new life, and I'm just going to give you a quick answer, to be honest, if you were going to try to move on your own before this program is ready, you would need about $15,000. You need about $5,000 to secure a house for your family of 5 for 2 years. $5,000 you could easily find a 4-bedroom house for 2 years. And then your remaining $10,000, you could start a business. You would have food to eat for that time. You could get a car. That way you have transportation, food, shelter, and you've got the framework of a business, and you've got money left over to support yourself until you start making a profit. So $15,000 would be more than enough for a family of 5 to go and start a life and have the basics of stability. And I'm not saying you're going to live like a king off $15,000, but you would have no worries, and that is what stability is. What do you feel is the overall reason why blacks have a fear of repatriation? What blacks have when it comes to repatriation, in my opinion, is not fear. It's just a long list of apprehensions and brainwashing that has been bestowed upon us for a long amount of time, from where am I going to go in Africa? You know, Africa is a very, very large place. You know, to how am I going to get treated when I get there? To, you know, I have enough trouble trying to move across the neighborhood. How am I going to move to another country? Where am I going to live? I don't know anybody there. You know, what am I going to eat? What job am I going to do? You know, it's just the basics. It's almost like if you were to consider moving to another state, but put all those apprehensions and all those worries and multiply them times 10. That's what our people have when it comes to going home. And then you add on to that all the negative stereotypes about Africa in general, about, you know, oh, I'm going to have to walk 10 miles to get a glass of water. Oh, I'm going to get killed by a kid with an AK-47. Somebody with a machete is going to come out of the bushes and chop my head off. These are things that, even if you've never heard anybody say these words to you, these are imagery that have been programmed to pop in our heads as kids when it comes to thinking about the African continent. And it's sad, but it's the truth. And those are the apprehensions that we have. So what I've been trying to do since the first day I set foot on the continent is to break those apprehensions, be it by talking to people, be it by sending videos and photos back to my family every single day, be whether it's making you know, going live and, you know, trying to convince people that the lies they heard are not real, be it trying to build a compound where people can come to Ghana and stay for 6 months and live for free and not worry about where am I going to stay, how am I going to get a job or whatever, and get established with zero, you know, risk before they move out into a country on their own. These are apprehensions that we've all been trying to get around. So with the purpose of this program, it actually tries to address every apprehension that I just spoke on, all in one package, and make it where our people can just make, all they have to do is make the decision, the conscious decision that I'm ready to get out of here, and we can make it happen. That's where we're trying to get to with this program. Get it to where all you have to do is make that decision for yourself. We know that it's hard enough to just come to that conclusion. We've had every apprehension and every barrier thrown in our way to make it undesirable for us to go.